Julius Caesar. Conqueror of Gaul. Mastermind of the Roman Civil War. Dictator for life. His name echoes through history as a symbol of ultimate power. But what about his wealth? We talk about modern billionaires like Musk and Bezos, but what if I told you that Gaius Julius Caesar might make them look like middle managers? Buckle up, history and money fans. Today, we're doing something crazy, translating Caesar's ancient fortune into cold, hard 2025 US dollars. Get ready for some truly astronomical numbers. So, where did Caesar's cash come from? Spoiler, it wasn't just looting Gaul, though that was huge. Let's break it down. First, conquering Gaul, modern France, was his biggest payday. Think millions in gold, silver, slaves, hundreds of thousands. And vast tracts of land. This wasn't just profit, it bankrolled his entire political future. Second, born into the prestigious Julius family, he started rich. But Rome was pay to play. He spent fortunes bribing voters, throwing epic games, and buying political allies. Massive debts early on. Absolutely. But it was an investment with an insane ROI. Third, he owned vast latifundia, mega farms worked by slaves across Italy and beyond. Prime real estate in Rome itself. Check. This was steady, passive income. Fourth, control over mines, gold, silver, lead, and key trade routes meant money flowed in constantly. Think of it like owning oil fields or tech patents today. Fifth, victorious generals got massive shares of spoils. Conquered provinces paid hefty annual tributes, effectively taxes lining his coffers as the man in charge. Okay, so he was filthy rich. But how can we estimate this in dollars for the year 2025? This is where historians and economists get headaches. It's not simple. Here's why. We could use the wheat standard. How much bread could his gold buy then versus now? Sounds simple, but lifestyles and economies are worlds apart. The gold standard. Convert his gold/silver to ounces, multiply by today's price. More stable? Maybe, but it ignores the relative value and power that gold held then versus now. Gold was the currency. The big method many scholars use is share of GDP. What percentage of the entire Roman economy did Caesar effectively control? Translating that percentage to the 2025 US GDP gives a staggering sense of his relative economic power. It's about influence as much as cash. And let's not forget the slave problem. Valuing hundreds of thousands of slaves is ethically repugnant and economically complex. How do you factor that immense, human capital? We'll focus on more tangible assets for our main estimate. Bottom line, there's no single, right answer. But using the GDP share method gives us the most mind-bending number. Based on the share of GDP method, which estimates Caesar controlled wealth equivalent to roughly 1/5, 20%, of Rome's entire annual economic output, translating that to the projected 2025 US GDP of around $28 trillion, puts Julius Caesar's net worth at approximately $4.7 trillion to $5.60 trillion. Let that sink in. $5 trillion. To put that in perspective. Jeff Bezos, $200 Caesar was worth 25 plus Bezoses. Elon Musk, $250 Over 20 Musks. The entire net worth of the world's top 10 billionaires combined. Caesar likely surpassed it by himself. This isn't just wealth, it's the economic power of a superpower concentrated in one man. It dwarfs any modern private fortune by orders of magnitude. This number isn't just big, it's incomprehensible in a modern context. Why? First, Caesar was the state. His wealth was Rome's treasury. No SEC, no income tax, as we know it, no antitrust laws. He could literally mint money, and did. His wealth directly funded his legions, paid off political debts, and bought the loyalty of Rome. Wealth was political and military power incarnate. Second, modern billionaires are incredibly rich within a system. Caesar was the system. He didn't just own companies, he owned provinces. He didn't just influence policy, he was the law. Trying to replicate that level of concentrated economic political military power today is impossible. Third, remember those hundreds of thousands of slaves. Their labor value was immense and underpinned his entire fortune in a way no modern asset does. It's a grim but crucial part of his economic engine. So, while $5 trillion is a fun headline number, it represents a type of power and wealth accumulation that simply cannot exist in our modern world. Caesar wasn't just the richest man in Rome, he was Rome's financial singularity. So, was Julius Caesar history's first trillionaire? In terms of raw, concentrated economic power relative to his world, absolutely, multiple times over. His fortune wasn't just money, it was the fuel for empire building on a scale we can barely imagine. It highlights how utterly different the ancient world was, where wealth, politics, and military force were inseparable. What do you think? Does this blow your mind? Who else from history should we put through this modern net worth translator? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient megawealth, give this video a big thumbs up, it really helps the channel. And subscribe for more mind-blowing history, economics, and untold stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, some fortunes truly are legendary. See you in the next one.